You know, I want to say some things. You know, I do, I do a lot of reflection when when I run, I do this. So I'm going to say some things. Okay. It is stated upon our foundation and sealed in our hearts that a union between one man and one woman to the exclusion of all others, so that children may know and may be raised by their biological parents. We should now be still and vigilant, for our freedoms may be in jeopardy. We're being ushered to live in a surveillance state in a free society. Children are not commodities that can be justifiably severed from their natural parentage and traded between unrelated adults. Parenting will be defined, erasing and replacing with gender-neutral legal parent. Erasing biological, natural parenthood that states will ignore. Children foremost right. Their immutable intrinsic yearning to know and be raised by their own biological parents. Gender of parents matter for the healthy development of children. Majority of incarcerated men do not have their fathers in their home. Fathers by nature secure identity, instill direction, provide discipline, risk-taking adventures, and lifelong schemas. Fathers cannot nurture children in the womb or give birth. Mother's nurturing is an essence of God, unique, beneficial, cannot be duplicated. Children of their own rights to natural parentage. It will become discriminatory to say that marriage between a man and woman, or that every child should know and be raised by his or her biological married parents. Expect public or home schools to be monitored by the state when it comes to moral values, parenting, and education. Expect thoughts to be controlled by limiting words. Gender-neutral language will become legally mandated. It will be discriminatory to assume a human being is male or female or heterosexual. Non-gender specific language will be promoted and embraced in media, government, and schools. Specific curriculum will be used to teach gender terms, husband and wife, father, mother, Mother's Day, Father's Day, will be steadily eroded and eradicated in schools. The freedom of consciences, religion, thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including the press, assembly, will all reality be curtailed. The First Amendment will be severely handicapped due to hate speech policies. In addition, wedding planners, bakeries, rental halls will be compromised for their beliefs. What is emerging is the war of ideology, the war of ideas, the ideology of mankind that is based on false hope, lies, and deception. Change that we could hope for through confusion and chaos and fear, leading a path away from freedom, liberty, and God's protection. That's what we're heading towards. And by the way, Charleston. It is quite strange when you have 9 innocent worshippers in Charleston being murdered, and the discussion turns around to the Confederate flag. In 1953, George Wallace, he stated segregation now, segregation forever. Blacks were bombed. The Klan was so violent. Cops water hosing. But today, South Carolina governor is a woman from India, Indian descent. One of 2 senators is black. We're no longer a racist country, but they still talk about it. Under the president, the economic condition for African American is worse now than it was 70 years. Black income is down. Net worth is down. The gap is 25 years wider. It's not the Confederate flag or racism. It's the implosion of black families. Back in 1955, 20% of black kids were born outside of wedlock. Today, it's over 70%. That is the issue. Growing up without a dad. 5 times more likely to be poor, 9 times more likely to be drop out, 22 more likely to end up in jail. Third, SB 792 was in the California Assembly on July 14th, 1:30 p.m. It is the first U.S. adult vaccine mandate with no personal exemptions, only medical exemption approved by a doctor. SB 792 bill initially included the full adult schedule vaccines plus any of the 200 plus vaccines in development. The bill was amended to only 3 vaccines, for the flu, measles, and pertussis. There's never been an occupation in the U.S. that demands mandated vaccines requirement for employment. Children now need to be vaccinated in order to get a public education. The Mayo Clinic website, 20,000 people a year are afflicted by vaccine side effects, yet the manufacturers have complete immunity of the side effects damage caused by their vaccines. They take away your rights, your obligations to look after your best interests and your family. This is un-American. This is a decision to mandate all future vaccines. There are currently 200 plus vaccines in development. Not all, but many will be scheduled. All school children will have to get all of them. Today is 69. More vaccines, more risk to your children. No one will be able to say no to any chemical mandated by the Fed or the state, so long it is packaged as a vaccine. You know, what is really reality is this. The government had failed to block, for example, Ebola in entering this country. Who knows how the risk of people getting affected of this, but it's reckless. And Judicial Watch got the records as part of the investigation into the Center for Disease Control. According to Judicial Watch, the activation of an emergency operations center to deal with the barrage of illegal aliens last summer, tens of thousands of Central Americans came into the United States through Mexican borders, and contagious disease, many considered to be eradicated in the U.S., became a tremendous concern. Diseases like dengue fever, TB, swine, flu, measles, possibly Ebola. So what do our leaders do? They blame mothers who believe it is their responsibility to protect their children for our parents. It includes mothers who believe there is a measurable risk for their children to be vaccinated. It is bizarre how our government harm our citizens by allowing infection diseases to enter our country and blaming mothers who don't vaccinate their children. Last, 2 months ago, I tested the rainwater that we had. It rained like 2 months ago. It was May 21st, 2015. I sent the sample to the basic laboratory results. The results indicated that there is aluminum, barium, and strontium. Aluminum is above normal, and I have no idea why would these heavy metals be in our water in our rainwater. But I've been doing some research, and you guys should be doing research yourself when it comes to why these chemicals are in our skies. That's all I have to say. But I have to say one thing. The Student Success Act, H.R. 5 bill. I'm going to talk about briefly, just a little bit about this bill, H.R. 5 bill. You guys should investigate this H.R. 5 bill. I think it's very important to know what this bill contains. This bill is going to replace No Child Left Behind. But I do want to say one thing, and this is it. Section 120, participation of children enrolled in private schools. Ensure that teachers and families of the children participate on an equitable basis in service and activities developed pursuant to the subpart. Secular, neutral, non-ideological such educational services or other benefits including materials, equipment. In general, services of other benefit for such private school children shall be equitable to comparison to services of other benefit for public schools. Conclusion. What's private Catholic, Jewish, Mormon, Baptist, or any other private religion school to do after its beliefs to match mandates for alternate mandates? This is the price we have to pay. It's, that things are changing indeed. Private schools, ombudsman, to help ensure such equity for such private schools, children, teachers, and other education personnel, the state agency involved shall designate an ombudsman to monitor and enforce the requirements of the subpart. Paid position, a role to which a person investigates and mediates official complaints for a living. This bill mandates that private schools will be assigned a state-appointed ombudsman to monitor private schools. The state educational agency involved shall designate an ombudsman to monitor and enforce requirements. The H.R. 5 bill will diminish parents' rights, and I really advise you to read. It has passed the House and most likely will pass the state. But I think when it comes to us, we have to be vigilant because this country is changing completely. And I think we have good intentions, but no, not for you at all. It has nothing to do with you. Thank you.